Shepherd's Valley Dwellers. To explore a bit more of the shipwright's former kingdom, I thought I'd design a few of its inhabitants. I asked my Dragon Tier patrons what they'd want to see the most. They were the Vintner, or the winemaker, the Osler, animal tender, the weaver, and while they technically voted for one of the Shepherd Queen's servants, I had a moment of inspiration for later, so I'm saving it, and swapping that one out for the soldier, because I had a clear idea for it. Let's jump into the soldier. This valley is built on shepherding. It is ruled by the Shepherd King. His people are the flock under his care. So who helps him protect his flock from danger? That's right, sheepdogs. Actual sheepdogs are highly revered in this little culture. Without them, the industry of the valley would grind to a halt. They protect both sheep and shepherd from danger by scaring off predators, and when the need arises, fighting them to the death. They also help the shepherds manage their flocks, steering and guiding them out to the best pasture lands and home again. They represent nobility, loyalty, ferocity, and self-sacrifice. Wearing their likeness is a big honor. I designed a simple bronze dog mask for them to wear as a visor. Attached to it is a wolfskin cowl. A treated Theosodon skin mantle protects their upper body. For the bulk of their armor, I wanted to bring back the felt gambeson from the earlier shepherd video. The plated shield bears a more rendered version of the prophetic symbol of a heel crushing the head of a serpent as the serpent bruises the heel. For color, most of the gambeson is dyed with scarlet. Before the king changed the trajectory of his entire kingdom, it was a dye that was used commonly in their valley. For the rest, it's pretty straightforward. Though I will point out that I brought some glass in for his spearhead, and at the last minute, I remembered to give this character some sentry bracelets for forearm armor. Not everyone will wear them visibly, and there's no law that they must be worn, but in this case, it also serves a practical purpose. Next is the Osler, also known as a groom. This is someone who tends to animals, stabling them, feeding them, generally looking after them. In the valley, I'm imagining that they employ many different kinds of animals. To start, I gave him the flute or ocarina that the Shepherd King's family developed over the centuries. As mentioned in the video about sound, this instrument is designed to mimic a wide range of animal sounds, from predators to injured young to assorted mating calls. It comes in very handy when handling a wide spectrum of creatures. He wears a double-sided cloak. One side is dragonhide, the other is Theosodon. When dealing with flock animals and occasionally sheepdogs, they're put at ease by the Theosodon fur. When dealing with larger domesticated animals, like Triceratops, Stegosaurus, and especially the larger sauropods, it helps to look like something they respect. His arms are protected by thick felt gloves. While these won't stop the pressure of a full bite, the felt acts like Kevlar, with the fibers tightening around sharp objects, providing protection against sharp teeth and claws. As anyone who has lived around animals know, sometimes the only way to get through to them is their stomach. On his belt, he carries pouches of his animal's favorite snacks. He's pretty sure that many of the creatures under his care love his belt far more than him. On his feet, he wears more thick protective felt. However, felt, and particularly dung, would be a nightmare to deal with. To make sure the boots last longer than a day in the stables, they have been dipped in several layers of liquid tree rubber. This allows him to trudge through just about anything his guests can dish out. His main tool is a modified shepherd's crook. A lasso comes in handy with the more stubborn creatures, especially during bath time. Thankfully, the rope quality in the valley is second to none, so it doesn't need to be too heavy to be useful. I finished off the line work by drawing in the dragon's hide texture. Once this was done, I wanted to include one little creature, in this case a juvenile Triceratops. At the Museum of Science in Houston, I recently learned that fossilized Triceratops skin impressions show what might be feathers, especially around their hindquarters and tail. Here's some video I took of one of the specimens. I included that detail in my previous video about the antediluvian atmosphere on an adult, and I thought it would look even better at this scale. For the colors, again, pretty standard. I made sure to include a lot of scarlet dyed wool, as this role would be very important to the Shepherd King's household. a short story about color. When I was younger, I spent some time around a very difficult artist, who shall remain nameless. Insanely talented, very low patience. At one point, another young artist summoned the courage to approach the genius and shakily asked how a junior like him could learn to paint the way he does. The talented artist slowly removed his glasses and said, "Ah, yes, here's my advice. You simply put the colors where they should go." At which point he put his glasses back on and turned back to working on his own project. Lesson over. The other junior and myself just stared at each other dumbfounded and went back to our own work. While it was delivered with more contempt and sarcasm than, up until then, I knew was even humanly possible, that lesson has been stuck in my head ever since. It's one of the reasons I tend to skip the coloring portions of these videos if I don't have something very specific to say about the color's meaning. More often than not, I'm simply putting the colors where they should go. Onto the weaver. I imagine weavers would be another highly respected role in the shepherd kingdom. Obviously, flocks aren't simply sent out to pasture just for the exercise. In the ancient world, and even today, flocks are a form of currency. They can be valuable for their wool, their milk, their hides, their meat. While animals can be traded directly, the shepherd kingdom has long been proficient at many of the secondary and tertiary skills that come from animal husbandry. They shear the wool, spin it into thread, dye it, and weave it into fine fabrics. Weavers add a lot of value to every trade caravan that departs their valley. In all of my projects, Dead Gods being no exception, I want as much of the story to be as visible as possible. To that end, I made this character a walking showcase of the weaver's expertise. It's part advertising and part pride in excellent craft. I picture weavers as living quite central to their town, protected by their workshops and the town wall, and ultimately the sheepdogs on patrol. This means less need for protection from the many hazardous creatures wandering the wilderness. Her hair is wound through a weaving shuttle. This tool is central to their craft, so it's a natural identifier for anyone who's involved in it. I'm always on the hunt for ways to visually represent longer lifespans. What would people do differently if they thought that they had centuries to live rather than decades? In this instance, I thought about weavers taking the time to intricately weave their hair with colorful thread, another proud identifier of their craft. Is it the most comfortable way to wear your hair? Likely not. Historically, has that stopped people before? Absolutely not. A few other details include strings of leather woven into bracers and sandals and a belt. A large needle tool is pierced through one of her skirt layers. The bottoms of her aprons are tied with loom weights. It was fun to find ways to integrate common tools of the craft into the costume. Finally, the Vintner, or winemaker. As mentioned earlier, my Dragon Tier patrons get to vote on certain aspects of this project. These are them, by the way. They have an amazing skill for challenging me, and I have yet to learn my lesson. Every single time I give them a poll, I include a filler option or two. Things that are fine enough options that I assume nobody is going to pick. Somehow, they always know the option I have the least tangible ideas for, and that would be the most challenging to actually design. The Vintner was the top voted character for a while. The Weaver and Osler eventually caught up to him, but it was still a dead tie by the end of the day. So, I had to solve the problem. But that's also why I'm thankful for them. I'm glad they picked the Vintner. This challenge was good for me. Why was it a challenge? It's pretty simple. Picture a fisherman. Got it? Good. You could probably write out a decent-sized list of all the elements you just pictured. Now, picture a Vintner. Unless you're part of a small percentage of the population that hangs around vineyards, did anything come to mind? If you look up reference images, most of them just look like people standing in vineyards or pouring wine into glasses. Thankfully, I've got a setting with some constraints, so this was an exercise in running something totally new through the Dead Gods algorithm. One important note, this role is actually very important. All throughout history, all across the globe, people have used fermentation to create liquids that are safe to consume. Water quality is not always a guarantee. Wine isn't just produced for its heart-gladdening qualities, it can often be the only thing you can drink that won't kill you. I started with the idea that this was the Vintner, the Shepherd King's go-to winemaker. So he's well-dressed, but his line of work is messy. I took an apron and stretched it out to cover a lot more area. This helps to give him a more authoritative look, like a surgeon or a priest. In the Nephilim Colosseum image, I enjoyed drawing the gigantic grapes, and I wanted to use them here too. He carries a curved knife to get them off the vine. These grapes don't look like they could be plucked as easily as our modern equivalent. He wears long gloves to protect his sleeves. A couple fingertips remain exposed as he still requires his sense of touch when examining his harvests. Over his shoulder, he carries a wineskin of his best current vintage. Attached to it is a small cup that is used for tasting. I've saved his most striking feature for last, that hat. The winemaker spends a great deal of time out in the vineyards. Out there, you don't always have the same level of protection that you would have in town. The most common threat is from the air. Predatory birds and pterosaurs can strike without warning. This hat mimics those predators, making them second-guess any attacks. It essentially makes him a walking scarecrow. One final note on color, I wanted his apron to be very old, something he's worn for centuries. Over time, it's been so thoroughly stained with wine that the entire garment has basically been repeatedly dyed. It's turned into a visual reminder of his craft. So there we have it, a small cross-section of the inhabitants of the Shepherd's Valley. A sheepdog soldier protecting the Shepherd King's precious human flocks. An ostler who tends to a vast spectrum of antediluvian animals. A weaver skillfully transforming the wool of the valley's flocks into highly valuable fabrics. And the King's Vintner ensuring the valley is safely hydrated and occasionally gladdened of heart. Thanks for watching.